Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Masks Monday. We are up to session 40. We have reached a milestone, session 40 of Masks of Nyarlathotep, and we are settling into chapter 5. Will they travel to Shanghai this time? Who knows? But they have some stuff at least to do left in Hong Kong. So let us go round the virtual table and start off with Mr. Perry Astor to introduce himself, please. You're muted. You're still muted.
Still muted.
Oh my god, go back to school, learn how to use a browser.
Computer use is not a Cthulhu skill just yet.
He's obviously too old for this, isn't he? He needs to play in person.
I'm too old.
It's because I said table, that's why it confused him.
Perry Astor, as our keeper said, who took part in a rather shameful burglary last episode. It was terrible. As burglaries went,
everybody was taking the piss. That's why.
I know. And we're into Hong Kong. We're looking for our Kenyan link. I don't know if we're going to find it because it doesn't appear to be in the sanatorium, so I don't know where he's going to be.
Well, you haven't had a look yet. Next is Annie Jones.
Oh, hello. Yes, I'm a member of this group. What do you want to know?
So who was it first you told to wee all over the floor?
I merely suggested that it would be a good idea to cover our tracks to make it look like it was a bunch of drunks. And having observed the hygiene in Hong Kong, I seem to think that was a good suggestion. No?
Arrivederci, Matteo. See you later. Next, we have Charles Barrington-Smythe.
Yes. The actual drunk of the group, who's very, very happy that he wasn't in on the burglary at the time, because God knows what I would have been asked to bloody do.
Well, we wanted it to succeed, darling.
Right. So for the audience at home, when Annie dies, if you happen to see Charles dancing a jig of joy, you'll know.
And on that wonderful note, we also have Pranit Singh Dhillon.
I mean, you already took the best bit of the summary away from me, but well, of course, I am Pranit Singh Dhillon, former soldier, now a little bit on the OCD side of the spectrum, but still part of this group to this day, which is really cool for me. And I believe I'm in charge of the summary, aren't I?
You are indeed.
Right. So actually, last session is the first one that we spend on the Asian continent as we leave from Mombasa on board of a ship on March the 29th. We'd stop at Saigon, Singapore, and all kind of places before we reach Hong Kong in about 3 weeks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but now should be Friday, the April the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we're gonna come in on the morning of Saturday.
On the Saturday morning,
because
yes.
You can't do stuff in the night, but yeah, that's the 25th or Friday.
Pissing on the carpet, of course.
Yes.
On the way to Hong Kong, we read about a derelict found near Australia, where a dead body was found on it, a survivor that was holding a strange idol in his possession. So that was maybe a glimpse on how we're going to die, maybe in Australia, but it will take a couple more sessions. We are staying at the Peak Hotel. We didn't want to stay on the ground floor, not too high on the same level, so we agreed to stay at the first floor. The place itself looks a bit dilapidated, but is still fine looking. As you do when you enter a foreign country, the first thing you ask at the reception is about a psychologist. And that's what Charles and I do. And apparently the concierge told us that is kinda used to give this sort of information to people, among which we find Jackson and Elias that stayed at the same hotel and asked the same question. Also, there was a letter waiting for him dated September by Charles Godfrey Esquire. We take the letter in order to maybe talk with this professor about the cult of the bloated woman and the poem of the Black Fan. There is an interesting psychiatric session with Charles and I, when Charles keeps crying the whole time, with me rolling my eyes and watching staring at the wall behind me, in front of me, at the very least. Meanwhile, apparently, I have now soldier heart and neurasthenia, which basically means nothing, because as the keeper said, are two very broad sort of diagnosis. So basically, it means everything and nothing at the same time. In the same time, indeed, Perry and Annie meet some locals at the bar, but nobody but the barman have any idea of who Brady was, given also the fact that they don't speak English or Kikuyu, as Annie pointed out. The barman, on the other hand, recognizes Carlyle on the picture that they showed him because he made a fuss in the premises and looked straight out a nursing home, Yeung Wo, about 2 years back. So we are planning on having Charles institutionalized so that we can get first-hand information inside of the sanatorium. You also went, Perry and Annie also went to the university to speak with the Godfrey Esquire man. Annie reminds him of someone coming by about 6 months ago, asking the same sort of questions. And we were thinking that maybe this is the woman that we were told was trying to acquire the books on how to make the seal back in Shanghai. We will find that out, hopefully. We also get a little bit of information about the goddess of the Black Fan, or prostitute, depending on how you read the ideograms and the kanji. The author wrote this about the Ming Dynasty. It is gruesome and terrible details and verses about murder, cannibalism, and bestiality. At least the writer himself was very educated, and fortunately, that's the only thing he wrote. Sounds more like a confession than an actual poem. We asked if this cult or tongue, as it's said in Chinese, has some headquarters of sorts, maybe in Hong Kong or Shanghai, but Mr. Godfrey Esquire could not answer this question. Also, as my fellow players underlined, we broke into the doctor's office. We made a mess trying to look for some shit, and as I wrote, Phil pisses on the carpet. I believe that sums it all up, the experience.
Yes, indeed. Give yourself a D10 of luck. So we are going to pick it up to... Oh. I mean, you did a very extensive summary. Seems a bit stingy, but the dice do roll where they may.
Yeah.
We will pick it up the morning after in a moment. But before then, I didn't quite twig that I didn't actually retcon the whole reading the Tonic manuscripts on the boat as much as I should have done. So by this point, Annie should technically actually know a spell or two, or at least know it enough to try and learn it. Obviously, if you want to learn them, then do say. But in terms of what you found from your reading of this narcotic manuscripts, there are indeed a couple of spells in here. Two of them seem to have more in common than the other. And in fact, one of them, which is called Contact Mind of the Observer, also has some notes scribbled in English near it. Not sure whose handwriting that is, but also it also talks about a Yithian and being able to potentially contact said Yithian. There's also a spell in there called Contact Winged One.
You're muted.
You are muted.
I say Contact Winged One. That's my kind of thing. But carry on. Are there any others?
Those are the only ones that you find in here.
Okay, let's go for this Contact Winged One.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, again, given we're kind of retconning it, I'm happy for you to try learning this one if you want with a hard intelligence roll.
Hard intelligence roll. Okay, that is an extreme.
Oh, okay. You have learned said spell. Okay. So basically, contact is not like a full summon or anything like that, but it does allow you to potentially communicate with whatever this winged one could be. I'm just seeing if it's got an actual thing in the grimoire here. Contact. Here we go. Okay. So basically, whatever this winged one is, basically you have to chant in order to communicate with it and for it to be able to hear you and listen to you. From what you know, it's going to be a little tricky where you are right now if you want to do it because of the region in the world that you're at. It tends to be a bit better towards Antarctica, apparently. And the cost is 3 magic points. In terms of other details, casting time is 1d6 plus 4 rounds, apparently. And sanity costs, not including actually seeing this elder thing as it, whilst it's not like materializing as you're summoning it, it's still like you're able to see it in your mind. It's 1d3.
Maybe I have to have a chat later.
It doesn't necessarily give you the upper hand, though, in anything, bear in mind, especially if the being is intelligent. It's basically just a method of establishing contact and maybe learning more about the thing, depending on what it is. But that is what you have learned.
Right.
What could go wrong?
I've got other character ideas. Ronnie rolling his eyes.
What I'll do, you've only really learned one
Only
spell
because
so
I was on
far.
mute and wasn't able to verbally go, God.
You can gain 2 mythos points.
Oh, mythos.
You do, however, lose 4 sanity.
That's more than casting the spell.
Looks can be deadly. Speaking of which, let's quickly go through sanity scores and so on before I forget. So, Ali, what is your sanity score now?
56.
Okay, cool. What I thought. And your luck is 43?
No, 49. It went up 6 with the luck roll.
Lovely. Okay. Perry, your sanity, is that still 95?
It is.
Yep. And your luck is still 16?
It is.
There, yep. Pranit, your sanity is 59?
60.
It is 60. Okay. And your luck, what is your luck now?
It is now 35.
Ooh. Quite a lot for you. Charles, your sanity is 54?
Yes, it is.
Yep. And luck is 49. It hasn't moved.
41.
41. Okay.
I did some spending last time. And can I just say, I find it very worrying that it's the person who is the most unbelievably, by some stretch, the sanest out of a lot of us that was doing all the urinating in the office.
So what you're saying is we should have been doing the urinating because we should have copied the same person in order to fit in.
No, I'm saying we're all less sane than he is, and we all know it was a bad idea. Why didn't he?
Sanity is what sanity does.
Maybe it was a good idea, and we're the crazy ones.
Well, it was your idea, so.
Yes. Hello, Michael B. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Okay then. So,
Hello.
I mean, it does follow. It is a good ploy to, if we're going to go through the whole burglary by a drunk thing.
He is Fugue.
Yeah, the one that pissed on the carpet, Fugue.
Yeah. The man doing the
more context. I
When
thought you were
you're
saying that
all- when
Phil
you're
was
all-
Duke.
When you're all locked up in the madhouse, I'll still be here.
Pissing on office floors.
pissing on all of us.
Oh God. Okay. So we're gonna skip a few hours now because of course you did your skulking and snooping and pissing in the night time from Friday to Saturday. So now it is the early morning of Saturday the 25th of April. And Charles has been burning the midnight oil, working well at these forgeries. And just as the first sun rays break through over the horizon, you, I guess, almost dramatically speaking, you hold up this set of papers with your extreme success from last week.
Yes, that's why I have 41 rather than 49.
That's right.
I spent 8 to drop it down to an extreme.
Yes, they are spanking and shiny and look incredibly convincing. Possibly your best work to date.
The reason that the longest lived character is the most sane is because
he can't read.
He can't read, and he's sort of accepted this, the insanity of it all, and is therefore becoming immune to it.
I think it was a brilliant bit of play by Phil. He basically saw how many handouts there were in the first section of this campaign, got to make a new character and thought, I'm going to have a character that cannot read any handouts at all, because that went wrong.
You know, the whole dyslexia thing is part of the pre-gen thing.
Yeah.
Didn't have to pick that pre-gen.
No, true.
It was a good move, though.
Yes.
I mean,
and actually, it does happen in Cthulhu. If you're doing a long campaign in Cthulhu, you do actually gain a bucket ton of sanity. It is
yes, you do.
Yes.
And if you're not, if you're not losing a lot of sanity within a section, and then you gain a whole load more than you've lost, you're going to go flying up.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing. Cthulhu has this reputation of taking sanity away from you because you're playing through the section, your sanity is going down. And then all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, you completed a section. These are your rewards. Bing, sanity's up here again." But that all happens in an instant, and then you play again, and it's all going down. So it has this reputation as taking your sanity, but actually, it makes you more sane.
Makes you hardened.
Yeah, Annie's on a quest to become sane. She started at 21, I think it was.
Yeah.
Well, I started at 25 and I'm at 54. So, you know.
There we go. See, we're on the mend.
I started at 65.
We are. In fact, the more horrifying the campaign has gotten for my character, the more sane I've gotten. Which could be the most insane part of it all.
Pranit is on 60 sanity. He's the second most sane. If you're
I started at 60 and I'm back at 60.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Back to my roots.
Indeed. I suppose the rest of you slept and maybe did a little bit of reading. You went to sleep, Annie, but apart from that, you wasn't
I can't hear you that
well.
well.
Your volume's going in and out.
It sounded more like connection muffling.
Yeah,
I think it's a StreamYard thing. It does this sometimes. So I guess the rest of you had a fairly normal sleep, apart from maybe an extra bit of reading for Annie, learning the spell sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So by the time the three of you wake up and you come down for breakfast, Charles has been up for most of the night, and I suppose he's looking particularly pleased with himself.
I think they'll pass muster.
Excellent. Now, what was the plan?
The plan is you were all going to you were going to go in as a doctor into that sanatorium and check it all out, and I think Perry was going to go with you as a possible bodyguard, and I don't know what Pranit was doing, and having been up all night, I'm going to bloody sleep, and I'm going to head to bed.
At least you won't have to put up with all that chanting during the night, so you probably will get a good sleep now.
Who was chanting?
You.
Me?
Learning your spell.
I wasn't casting it.
Maybe you were chanting in your sleep.
Yeah, perhaps you were.
I think you're imagining things, and as the most sane person here,
Yeah,
I say,
God
you're
knows
crazy.
What you lot are dreaming about then.
So I guess for those of you who are planning to head out for the day, you get some breakfast. For those of you, actually, well, I guess it'd be all of you who've never had Chinese breakfast. It's basically a strange amalgamation of rice. There's always rice in every single meal. There's things like noodles, maybe some sweet stuff, maybe some savory stuff. It's all rather ambiguous. And also asking for a cold glass of water is really hard because usually they just give you boiling water as a thing. But apart from that, it's still filling enough and stodgy enough. So are you planning to head to the nursing home straight away? Are you intending to do anything else first?
I was just wondering, are we going straight in with the doctor strategy, or are we going to just sort of try inquiring first, or do you think that will blow the doctor strategy?
I think if someone else, if we're going to inquire, we need someone else who's not going to be the doctor to inquire, don't we? So we don't blow that.
Well, everything's been put in Annie's name, so if we're doing that strategy, it can't be Annie.
It's kind of the problem, though, is it kind of clues that it would be really suspicious if there was a random inquiry and then a doctor comes along.
Asking the same questions.
Yeah, with forged papers.
Well, I thought we'd find out, try inquire if he's there. If he's not, I thought the doctor was to commit somebody and then to get that person
We
out,
did
maybe.
talk about sneaking in that way, but the problem then is getting them out.
Well, I
Yes.
thought Charles was going to do forge some release papers at the same time.
Yes, because I was forging mine. Because you bastards were talking about putting me in.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things I was doing.
You have a nice rest.
Okay, that is the universal phrase for scare the life out of someone so they never want to sleep again. Yes, don't worry about it. Why don't you have a nice rest?
Yeah,
He's practicing as an orderly.
yes,
You have a nice rest. You have your pill.
being sober that long might help as well, you know.
Well, we can do the committal strategy second if we have to. Let's go in first with the doctor. Everyone's vanishing.
Yeah, everyone
One came back. Let's go with the doctor strategy first, and then if that fails, we'll commit someone, and then
Okay.
then we don't have to rely on the doctor thing working or not working because we'll already know.
Okay. Fair dues. So, obviously Annie is going as a doctor. Did you nick any clothes or anything like that? I don't believe you did.
I can be smartly dressed. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The actual
Doctors
white
don't have a
coat-
uniform.
White
No,
coat
no.
and all that would be at the place anyway.
Yeah.
I'll do myself up so I look a bit prim.
Okay. And is anyone going with you?
I believe we can all go. You're muted, Phil.
Do we need some spare people in case we need to do another approach? Or, I mean, I don't think if we are going to commit somebody, we should at least leave one person behind.
It might be a bit weird just having flunkies.
One person's sleeping. One person's not going with you. I've been up all night forging papers. I'm sleeping.
But then we have to explain who the other people are who don't have papers.
That's very true. I mean, you could perhaps have a secretary or a personal assistant, but I think you're going to get away with one other person. I don't think you can go with a group.
For very obvious reasons, then, if you're going to have a sort of secretary or PA, it would have to be Pranit.
Considering I can't write.
Perry can't read. If they fucking give him something they give him any sort of paperwork at all, he's not going to know a damn thing about it.
I'll just make some squiggles, say it shorthand.
I'll just pretend he's my secretary.
I mean, there are places around if you want to do that sort of thing. Not in a lunatic asylum.
Suddenly I can hear like 70s porn music playing in the background as you enter the asylum.
I don't know, does Perry have a moustache?
He does. He has a big bushy moustache. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully the person who illustrated that portrait isn't watching right now.
I'm here to be interviewed.
Oh no. Can we cut this joke?
Yes.
Before it is too late, please.
Oh, I was too late the moment now.
Okay,
right.
then.
So I'll catch some rest if you two decide to go. So that if we need a plan B, there's Charles and I.
Okay. Well, there are other things, productive things you could be doing. So whilst Perry and I go to the sanatorium, perhaps you could inquire about that ship, because that landed in Hong Kong, right?
You don't know.
Doesn't give the port of arrival in the article.
No, it was Australia.
I thought you meant the one in the photograph at Shanghai.
No, not that one. No, I'm talking about the one there was a newspaper article about. We could maybe do some inquiries on that.
Ah, right. Well, yeah.
From London.
That was in New Zealand.
Was it?
It was off the coast of New Zealand where the shipwrecked boat was found, and then the alert took it back in.
I mean,
where?
I get you don't like me, Annie, but New Zealand is pretty far.
So it went back to port in New Zealand.
Yeah, I think it was Auckland.
Okay, it's just all right. Okay, I just had it in my mind that this was local news. Okay, maybe not then.
Well, you obtained a copy of the Sydney Bulletin whilst on the boat, and maybe it was quite a big news article given what it said. But yeah, it was all very much New Zealand and off the coast of that.
Right. Okay. Well, maybe don't do that. Let me just have a little look at my notes from last session.
Yeah, I believe we did everything we had to do, but the nursing home. Because we went to the bar, we went to the university. There isn't really that much of a thing we could do here before heading to Shanghai.
I've gone through the Myra. There don't seem to be an awful lot in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I've not entirely finished that, but yeah, I think the only thing maybe if you want to is there is the one book that you've not read yet. Maybe if you want to find somebody who can read it for you.
Is that the French one?
Like that, yeah, the French book, the red one. Apart from that, there's plenty of things to do in Hong Kong on a recreational
Yeah, you could go to the doctor's office and do a dump on a doorstep.
Well, I was thinking more. There's things like, I mean, if you just want to do something recreational, so there's things like across at Kowloon, there's things like there's the Royal Observatory. There's nice sort of walled city area you can go to, which is popular for tourists. There's also the Happy Valley Racecourse, which is nearish to where the nursing home is.
I did want to go and do that telegraph to New York.
Yes, you did, and that is also across at Kowloon.
I believe I'm going to the university to see if there is some sort of French teacher, professor, whatever,
okay,
that can translate the book for us. And then, as I said, catch some sleep.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, there's also, if you're going to the university, whilst Charles Godfrey did kind of get the poem out and outline it, he didn't properly read anything out to you, really. So if you want to look more into that, you can, of course.
Yeah. Whilst I will be having my usual dream of going to a university and being presented with several diplomas and doctorates and all these wonderful sort of diplomas and everything that I've actually forged myself, and they're handing them to me as if they're actually real.
Indeed.
Have you given Annie a fake name, or have you used her own name?
Well, you're old and extreme. I'll let you decide.
I think I would have to give her a fake name. I'll let Annie decide what the fake name was, but that's will be the name that's on there.
Somebody completely fictitious like Margaret Thatcher.
I have a pack of NPC names if you want.
Sounds like something from a nightmare.
Yes. Well, yes, indeed. Anyway, so let's go to Yeung Wo Nursing Home first of all, which, is actually not that far away from the Yellow Lily Bar either. It's on that side of the north coast. Like I said, fairly close as well to this Happy Valley race course. So basically, you've got Causeway Bay, which is quite densely populated, and then a bit further out, you've got sort of more rolling fields, a few suburbs and things like that. And Yeung Wo Nursing Home is within a smallish suburb of sorts. And when you get in, it's a fairly pleasant place. It's definitely more of a nursing home than a sanitarium or a mental asylum. It looks more like, people who are going to be here for a good while, in a better way, I suppose, rather than just banged up because they're a bit weird or what have you.
Just remind me, who was it who was sent here? Was it Roger Carlyle or was it Brady? It was Carlyle, wasn't it?
We're after Carlyle, yeah.
So you know about this place because the bartender at the Yellow Lily Bar commented about Carlyle, thinking, "Oh, he must have been straight out of Yeung Wo Nursing Home because of the way he was behaving."
Behaving or dressed? I thought you said dressed.
And dressed too. Yeah. So, and again, they're in fairly close proximity. The grounds are quite pleasant as well. Lots of very sort of pristinely cut shrubberies, flowers, and so on. There are a few patients actually being walked around by orderlies and so on. Some are in a bit more of a stupor than others, really. But are you going to be heading up to the front desk, something like that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're heading up there, and you get a secretary or administrator. You think, Joe-san, good morning. What can I do for you? Are you here to visit?
Hello. Well, I'm not here as a patient, if that's what you mean.
No. You want to visit a patient?
Depends if they're here.
Okay.
Looking for this man, and I get out the photograph of Carlyle, a patient here.
Yes. Mr. Carter, yes, we do have him here. Are you a sister?
No. I've been sent by the family. I'm his family doctor.
Oh, I see. I did not know he had much family. Not here, anyway.
No, they've sent me over to ascertain his condition for myself so I could report back to them.
Oh, I see. Well, do you have papers? Anything?
Yes, I do.
We have been looking after him. He has been here for a while now, as you know. He does have bad day sometimes, but we are giving him medication. We are keeping him calm. And they
Good.
check everything over.
I would like to see the patient for myself. You understand?
Yes, yes. But we do a good job with him.
I'm sure.
You will see. We do a very good job with him. Okay. And they take a glance at you as well, Perry.
I'm just sort of standing there holding a briefcase, just like one pace behind Annie.
Is this assistant?
Yes.
Secretary, yes.
Oh. American.
Canadian.
Oh.
He hates being called American.
Oh. So sorry.
No, that's okay. It's a common mistake, unfortunately.
Yes, you sound the same. And he just gives you like a little innocent smile sort of thing. Cold down things. And he starts kind of getting out a set of keys and things like that. But as he starts coming out from behind the desk, as if to maybe take you to the room and so on, another orderly, you think, comes along and comes to the administrator and whispers something in Cantonese to him. And he nods. My colleague just went to see Mr. Carter. He is not doing so well. Maybe best you come back a bit later.
Well, perhaps that is exactly the time I should be seeing him, don't you think?
Can I have persuade roll, please?
Oh. Yes, you can actually have a hard. I could spend 2 points of luck and make an extreme if you need.
Up to you.
Go on, I'll spend 2 points of luck. It's close enough, that, I think.
Okay.
It's worth it.
He tries not to admit that you've got a very good point, but he goes, very well. You are a doctor. I am sure you've seen patients like him before. So he takes you down a few corridors. There is the odd sound of loud noises and things like that, but again, it's nowhere near like a mental asylum is at all. When you can kind of see through, there's like a little window as well into Roger's room. And again, it's quite nice in there as well. Very comfy looking bed and things like that. Although there's not very much in here in terms of like objects and so on. But he's just kind of sitting at the front of his bed at the minute. He's got mostly blonde hair by this point. There's like a little bit of black, you think, left in there. Slightly stubbly beard, although he looks clean enough at least. So I try to find a more what's the word? Broken looking Carlyle, but I wasn't successful. But in any case, here is the bright beamish boy.
You can't say trying to find a more broken Carlyle and then full screen Phil.
It full screens anyone every time. Oh my God. Right, let's put you there. Okay. So he's in a bit of a disheveled patient's outfit, so just kind of loose overalls and things. And at the minute, he's just kind of staring at a spot on the floor, and he's almost kind of tapping quite hard on the ground and making funny high pitched noises. He's just been given medication, so he should calm down in a minute.
What did you give him?
Oh God. Let's say laudanum.
I nod as if as if I'm a doctor and that made sense. Okay, and I'll go in.
Okay. Okay, so he's not really looking up at you to start with, but as you come in, close the door, and things like that, he immediately just jerks his head up like this towards you, wide eyes, and says, "Why am I here? Why am I being held here? Who are you?"
We're friends. We've come to help you.
"I don't recognize you. I don't recognize either of you."
No, Erica sent us.
Erica. What? And he starts kind of stuttering as if, I don't know, something conflicting or something like that. Where's Anastasia?
Anastasia.
You're not sure who that is.
No, we're not sure at the moment. But if you give us some information, we might be able to find her for you.
Yes, please find her. That's very important. I can see Erica soon, I'm sure, but Anastasia, she and I got separated. We need to see each other.
Did you have a second name?
No, I don't. And his mind kind of goes blank. Huh. She never gave me her second name. I can't believe it. I can't believe I never even asked her. Huh.
Where did you meet her?
I did New York. How is Erica?
She misses you terribly.
But she is well.
Yes, I'm well looked after here.
And
There aren't any Africans here with you, are there? And you see
None
him
at all.
looking,
No.
darting out towards the door.
none at all.
They write in a funny language, and the Egyptians too. They strange pictures everywhere, all over. I can't get them out of my head. All over the walls.
Yes. Where's the capstone, Roger?
I broke it. I broke it off. Oh God.
Where is it?
I don't know. I don't know why, but I climbed up and I just broke it. I don't know. Lost in the sands, in the sweeping sands of Egypt. But it was quite pretty there. There were kings there, and they were in their finery, so beautiful, and we were all there when they were being built. It was so wonderful, and yet so terrifying. He's in my head, He still thinks that I'm his. Oh, and
You
you see him
aren't, though.
looking away.
You're free of him now.
No, he still speaks to me. He still thinks that I'm going to help and that I'm part of something.
You can end it all if we can find the capstone.
I don't know where it is.
Sorry. What does he want you to do?
He won't tell me. He keeps me in the dark. But I dream of him. I dream of him nearly every night. And how he says that things are going to happen, that a great being lies in the middle of the universe, and we must keep him asleep, or else he will die too. So we have to entertain him with wonderful stories of everyone dying and everyone being killed and everything coming out. We're unlocking the gate. We're going to do it. We can't turn it around now. I've broken the capstone, and that's gonna be significant.
Yes, we need to find it, Roger. Where were you when you last saw it?
I I was just on the top of the pyramid. I broke it off. I felt strong. I felt like he was telling me that it was my duty, my destiny to break it, and that he could tell me so many things. So I broke it, and it went toppling to the ground. And I don't really remember much after that. Brady, though, he came and helped me away, but after that, we went off to Kenya. Maybe he found it again. Maybe Brady has it. I don't know. I haven't seen him for a while.
Is Brady? You don't know if Brady's still in Hong Kong at all?
I don't know.
He doesn't come to see you.
Very occasionally. Not recently though. He moved me here. I was in the asylum for a while, and then I got a bit better, so he decided to move me, and I had a little bit of a drink finally. It is very hard without a drink, but then he brought me here, and I think he's still funding for me, but he hasn't come for a while, and I can't ride out to him. I don't know where he is or if he has an address.
That's okay. But Roger, we must stop the Black Pharaoh.
Don't speak too loud.
Well, we do believe it is possible.
But we need the capstone.
I told you I don't know where it is. I didn't see it anymore. We went off to Kenya. We did terrible things, but my mind it's fuzzy. But something horrible took place near a big mountain.
We've
Sir
already
Aubrey.
dealt with that.
Yes, you don't have to worry about the mountain anymore.
It is sealed once more. But what happened to you in Kenya?
I started getting more dreams, more nightmares. I do remember Sir Aubrey taking us up north to this near the mountain, doing terrible things. Those poor people, those poor men and women who were there helping us. Hypatia was not well too, but then I think Brady. I remember Brady. He kept giving me things to drink. I was getting more sick, and then I woke up sometime later on a boat with Brady. I had no idea where we were, but we weren't in Kenya anymore. I don't know where the others are either, if they're still alive.
So, you last saw Sir Aubrey in Kenya.
Right. And Houston and Hypatia. And Anastasia.
Was it Brunei? Was she a woman of
Yes.
a darker skin colour?
Yes. Yes, my love. I do miss her so much.
You think she stayed in Africa?
Yeah, she didn't come with me. Brady said that she wanted to stay behind, and I didn't believe him. I just want to see her again. She really understood me. There's the whole being a playboy. Everyone likes you, but not like that. She understood me, and she knew me for who I really was. and he almost kind of fishes for a handkerchief in a pocket that isn't actually there, and realizes he's just wearing, orderly clothes. So he kind of grabs a bit of his bed sheets and starts like mopping his eyes and
Nice.
blowing his nose.
I'm sure they're all safe and well somewhere in Africa.
I don't know. Brady didn't know. I've just been here. He says that I'm here so I can be safe.
Well, you're safe here for now, but I think it would be good to get you home to New York.
If he might know, and he might send more people back to get me. Or what about Erica? He might come for Erica next.
Erica's of no value to him, though.
He does what he likes. It doesn't matter. He just sees us all as indisposable, replaceable.
Well, the last time we met Erica, she did seem quite well protected.
This Black Pharaoh is no man.
I know. But what we need to stop him is that capstone. So, because we found, let me just meta for a moment. So we got half of it, didn't we? But there's another half.
Yeah, there's another half somewhere. Yeah, you don't know.
Do you think Sir Aubrey may have taken the capstone? Did he have luggage where he might have hidden it?
Just to remind you as well, you were also told by Bundari's helper, and also Nuri's son, that it can't be put back together. There has to be a new one made instead.
Right. Well, how did we do that? We haven't been trying to do that. How did we even do that? Crikey. No idea.
The only lead you've really got at the moment for it is potentially these 7 cryptical books of Hassan, which Bundari spoke of a beautiful woman in Shanghai.
I thought she was evil, not... Wait,
well,
I'd missed something here. It's like I'm learning this stuff for the first time.
Okay. Well, this is...
that was... Bundari said about the 7 books, didn't he?
Indeed. I don't remember this.
I think you might have wondered if she was evil, but he was mainly saying, a beautiful woman with a lot of influence.
I thought he was warning me about her. That she'd be the woman with the fan.
Ah, okay. I mean, she might be.
Is that not the case?
Well, Bundari never really said. He just said that he saw her with these books.
Right. And that's how we remake the capstone.
That's what he thinks, yeah.
Do we need both halves to make sure we know what it's like on both halves, do you think? Or do we just take it that one half is the same as the other half?
Guess we'll find out.
But you definitely think that Bundari cast it on the mountain.
Bundari cast it?
Yeah, Bundari, you think that...
He made the original stone?
Yeah, you think that it is something like that.
Well, why didn't he just make another one? Ye gods!
Well, it's too late now, he's dead.
Oh no, what an idiot.
Wouldn't it be really, really useful if you knew someone who could forge things?
What, like 7 books you haven't read?
I'm up for a challenge.
It's bloody good if you can.
No, I was thinking more the capstone.
I think it actually has to be some kind of magic spell, though.
Yeah, would the Black Pharaoh fall for that? Oh, look, we've made one. Oh, shit.
Well, I'm not going to sign it, although I want to.
Well, is there anything else we need to ask Carlyle then
we need to
before
find
we
Brady.
go?
We need to find Brady, don't we?
Well, I've got one idea on that once we're finished with Carlyle.
Yeah. I mean, say to Carlisle, I mean, if Brady does come, can you let him know we're looking for him? We need to talk to him.
Well, I was going to ask at the desk, basically, about the man who's paying for the room. That was my plan, and I'll do that on the way out. But is there anything else we need to ask Carlyle then before we head off?
He goes back into a bit of a crying stupor, but then he looks back up at the ceiling again, and he starts just almost in a very tormented, like Nyarlathotep is just in his mind all the time, and he can't get away from him. And he just breaks down.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we're done here for now then.
Yeah. Don't think there's anything else we can do, so we can't help him, certainly.
Well, we are. We're sealing the Black Pharaoh away.
Yeah. Are we going to let his sister know he's here, or
I think we should
leave him alone from it? I'll put that in my telegram when I get over there to do the telegram. Then.
You know, staying in Yeung Wo residential home under the name of Carter. But also that he believes it's safer for him to remain here. Actually, we need to we'll send more details in letter, I suppose, is the thing to do, and actually write a letter explaining it all in more depth. But yeah, I think she should know. But anyway, so once we're done with here, I want to go back to the reception desk, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. It was very informative. I may need to visit him again before I can finalize my diagnosis, but that was very insightful. The family are curious. The man who's paying the room, they had a strange letter from a man called Brady. Is that the same name as his paying for the room?
Oh, we don't have name. It is anonymous benefactor.
So you don't know who it is at all?
No.
Does he have?
How are they paying? How are they paying for it? Is it cash or bank transfer? If it's cash, we can't. If it's cash, we can't follow it. If it's a wire transfer or something, we could.
I don't think it specifies in here, but I would imagine it would be cash. Oh, it actually does say here, yeah, substantial cash payments.
See, my concern. Well, this is be a conversation with Perry as we're coming back. My concern is that it's being kept here by the cult. I think we actually need to move him.
That is a possibility, but if Brady's been coming to see him, Brady got him away from the cult. So if it is Brady, well, I mean, we're not aware of any cult here, though, are we? The cult is in Shanghai. Wouldn't you take him to Shanghai?
They're just keeping him on ice until they need him.
We need
because, we were always under the impression that this Brunei woman was bad, and yet Carlyle loved her.
Erica didn't like her.
So we need to keep an open mind as to who's good and who's bad on the Carlyle expedition. Clearly,
she did try and kill you.
Wait, did we meet her then?
Yes, she rolled terribly, but her arms turned into two vicious snakes and tried to bite you.
Oh God, this campaign's so long. I've forgotten all this stuff. So if we dealt with her,
You dealt with her very swiftly before seeing Hypatia and Daddy showing up.
oh, that was her. Right. Yes.
was her.
Okay. Right. Well, yeah. Okay. So
We'd have to worry about her then.
we don't. I think Roger might be a bit upset, but let's just deal with the bigger issue of
I
the
think
god.
we need to be careful what we tell him, so we just won't tell him that.
Yeah. But I do think we should move him. Like, we need to get him under our sphere of control rather than whoever is, funding this.
If Brady is here, perhaps he would consent to maybe taking him back to London or something. Put him in a.
Well, if you want, it depends. It depends. If the person wants him hidden from Erica and the rest of the world, and us, or if the person wants him hidden from the cult. Either way, he's got to stay hidden.
Yes.
But we don't know who is paying this bill.
It's cash payment, so does he come every month, 2 weeks to pay the bill?
So how often does this these payments arrive?
Once every month, approximately.
What, envelope through the door or something?
Yes. Always envelope through the door.
What, at end of the month? Mid-month?
Presumably there's a letter inside to explain what it's for.
Well, yes.
Do you have one to hand?
He's getting a bit dubious of you asking about the money. I'm going to need another persuade roll from you.
Well, that's a... let me see.
Perry could help if you want and give it a bonus die.
Well, I've already rolled really well. I'm going to spend 2 luck, and that makes it a hard pass.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Very well.
The family are concerned, you see, because they obviously want him to be treated back at home where they can visit him. But they've had these strange letters from this Brady fellow who we think might be the person who's paying for this, and it's not the family, you see. So we wanted to get in touch with him.
Yes. Okay. Hi. And he goes in and gets out the latest. It's literally just a slip of writing, which just says on behalf of Mr. Carter.
And the handwriting, did we recognise that from any of the other things with... Is it similar
no.
to anyone's? No. Okay. So have we seen Brady's handwriting anywhere?
I don't think so, no.
I do also believe, though, that Brady does genuinely think that he is hiding Carlyle from the cult, because we have a record of the Pale Viper hunting Brady down.
This is true. Yes.
Have the guys at reception, have you seen Brady before he stopped visiting?
Yes, he was getting visitors, wasn't he?
And we can
Come by
describe
periodically.
Brady.
We've got a photo of him right here,
Got a
actually.
photo,
Was
yeah,
it this man here?
Yes, but he only bring him here.
He's not visited all the time he's been here.
No.
Have any of these other people visited him?
No.
Are you able to describe the person who's visited him?
Yeah, he just points to Brady.
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought you just said he
didn't
only bring him here.
No, I said that he brought him here, but he
Okay.
hasn't visited since then.
Oh, because Roger said he'd had visitors.
Sure he did.
Okay, fine. For simplicity's sake, yeah, let's just say these. Okay, maybe he's visited once or twice. I'm getting almost up with my own narrative now.
we might have to accept the possibility that Roger's not exactly dueling with a whole sword.
Exactly. I'll use that as an excuse.
It is possible, yeah.
Yeah, but the point is,
imagined
he's
Okay.
not come very
So
regularly
it
at all.
is Brady, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we definitely, we could, I suppose, You're not going to be long enough to stake out the hospital, are we? So you've got some money off.
No, and I'm just concerned that, if the cult know we're here, and if he is being hidden, like Brady is, I don't think Brady is bad guy. I think he's on the right team.
I tend to agree.
But do we take that risk now that we've actually found Roger Carlyle?
Do you think we should just move Roger Carlyle regardless?
I think we should.
I do believe we should contact Erica, and then she will arrange the whole moving thing.
Weeks before she can arrange something.
We found your brother. He is here.
My only worry, and I said this last session, my only worry about contacting Erica, very much about Roger as well. If the cult get to see that message, we may as well be putting a target on his back.
Which is why I think we need to move him somewhere first.
We can move him and stash him. We don't necessarily have to tell Erica where or anything, do we?
Well, we can do it two ways. You see, we could send her a letter to explain it that's sealed.
This is going to be super dangerous to move him somewhere else.
Well, just thinking back, when was the last time we messaged Erica?
Egypt, I believe.
Egypt.
Just before you left Egypt.
I'm going to telegram her at some point this week.
Just before we hit Egypt.
Sorry, just before you left Egypt.
Just before we left Egypt, yeah.
I do believe that it is worth a shot just to call her.
We could do
find a secluded telephone, and then
you can
tell her by voice.
China. No way. Not in 1920s. You can't phone that far.
Not that far
afield.
It's going to be telegram or post.
Yeah. I think I don't know about Hong Kong. I think maybe there was a local. Yeah, there was like a very local phone network, and the same in Shanghai, but no way across international.
The cables hadn't been laid yet.
No.
You could maybe do it with a Marconi set.
She's in New York as well, though. It's not just even the West Coast, is it?
Quite.
Yeah, but she could fly. She could fly to the West Coast.
There is an aerodrome in Hong Kong, which does fly fairly locally to India, Shanghai, things like that.
Is there? I don't think there's any flights across the Pacific, though, is there?
No, not Pacific wide.
But could such a plane get to Hawaii to refuel?
No, I'm going to say no. Not even for $1 million yuan.
Yeah, if the farthest it goes, it is India.
Yeah,
it is way out of line going to Hawaii.
It's. I don't think we should perhaps even in the telegram mention maybe finding Carlyle either. I think we should perhaps be a bit more careful than that. Say we've made some interesting discoveries that are very important, and then we'll follow that up with more detail because anyone seeing it, we know there's a network of these.
Well, we could simply say found what we were looking for, alive.
Yeah. What if we just write her? We found a man who's willing to talk to you.
Oh, why don't we come back and take a photograph?
Could do.
And we'll send the photograph.
You'd need a camera, but yeah, that's feasible.
We can buy a camera, can't we?
Oh, cameras easy. Cameras are easy enough bought.
And we could just send
Have
it
to have money
as film. So even if it's intercepted,
they'd have to develop it.
They'd have to develop it and, to truly intercept it. Do you see what I mean?
Which buys us time.
You're clever.
Yeah, which face. Well, why would you think it's somebody sent her a film? It's just could be anything.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Let's do that then. So we'll be back later on today. I just need to get a photograph of Roger to send to the family. Roger,
Right.
Mr. Carter.
Roger.
Mr. Carter.
His name is not Roger.
Mr. Carter, I said.
Yes, Mr. Carter, but his name is not Roger. I would have thought you would know, given you were his doctor.
Yes, that's what I said, Mr. Carter.
He gives you a nod and says, "Use some Thai. Take a good care of your health."
And yourself.
You don't know what he says after that, but you see him turn to an orderly and you hear the word "bat," whatever that means.
Okay, so on our way back, let's get a thing where we get driven and we'll ask what the word bat means.
He laughs and says, "Oh, you're very gossipy, noisy, nosy woman. That's what bat means."
Nosy woman.
Hi.
Okay, could have been worse.
Yep. Okay, we'll go buy a camera and do the round trip thing. Get a picture. Roger, get a picture of the place he's at on the same roll. And then head back to the hotel and meet the others.
Okay. Pranit, did you want to go out to the university at the same time, or are you waiting for him to come back first?
No, I'm going out at the same time so that we can save some.
Sweet. Okay.
And,
We will do a quick scene of that then before a break.
If you are going to do the whole photographing thing and photographing the outside of the building, photograph the inside of the building, and in doing so, take the odd candid shot of some of the staff.
It's right. You're talking 1920s camera.
This is not like the camera phone you can hide.
I know. I'm just...
So you set your tripod up and your big flash bulb.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not a Polaroid.
Well, unless we could get a pocket Kodak.
Okay, then. So, Pranit, you head back on out to the university, where really one of the main libraries is. So it's a missing anything.
Sorry, a question I wanted to ask Perry and Annie before leaving for the university. How did you pose with Godfrey Esquire? You were helping Jackson Alaya writing his book. Is that right?
You worked for him, and you were following up some stuff.
All right.
That's right. Yeah. We're doing some backgrounds and stuff, weren't we?
All right.
He doesn't know Jackson Elias is dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figured that.
Oh dear. Okay then. So, you head on back over, and it's a pretty big library, and kind of like your reaction to the Savoy, this very kind of unnecessary grandeur does make you feel a little bit uncomfortable given your religion. You try and find maybe the most direct place possible where you can find either a French speaking teacher, as you said, or maybe a section. You do easily find somebody, say in like half an hour, who can at least help you translate. but there's a few different people around. You also notice in the general library, there's somebody just at the corner of your eye. You see him. He's kind of opened up a book and he's pacing. Well, not pacing, but he's sort of pivoting a little bit on his feet near one of the bookshelves, and it appears to have a load of astronomy diagrams in or something like that. And he's looking rather inquisitive at that. There's a few other people as well who they're into all sorts of studies. But yes, the library staff can help at least a little bit. What is your library use like, come to think of it?
The base 20.
It is the base 20. Okay. Give me a roll anyway. Let's see how long it takes.
It takes about 87.
Okay. All right. So they have a look at this tome. Let me just get it up quickly. Wait, am I right? It's not in this one. No. Oh, it's in my notes further up here, isn't it? Because I just assumed that Francoise would read it before she died. But never mind. Here we go.
Even
She
muted,
died
I have figured out what you were saying.
She died as she lived, shooting gods in the face.
Yeah, so basically there are a few people who speak okay French, but they say the book is old. It's going back to 11th century.
No shit.
So they have to kind of find references like in other books to try and translate certain parts of it, or you know, certain bits you might point at. But basically, they say it is called the Diary of Anselme de Montfort, whoever that is. And they try and paraphrase a bit for you. Basically, there was an entire group, or maybe even a clan, called the de Montfort. They were involved in the Crusades at one point, and apparently became Earls of Leicester later on. There is no specific name of Anselm mentioned, but they do say it's written in the first person. It's implied that it's written by somebody called Anselm de Montfort. They also translate a specific line that says, one of the prisoners told us of the day that Nitocris would return, and that by warring against the guardians of the secrets, we would hasten that return.
Right.
You know what?
Sorry about the siren.
That's okay. I'm going to be nice. You also find a couple of spells.
Oh shit.
What you think? One of which is called Pharaoh's Wrath, and the other is called Pharaoh's Breath.
Ooh, and do I get to have the translation for both?
Basically, by this point, the librarian helping you is looking a little freaked out from reading all this.
Oh, come on.
As do you. So you get a mythos point.
Hey.
And actually, you only lose one sanity loss from a skim read, so you're okay. But they're non-believers, you know. This is the first time they've really seen stuff like this before.
Yeah, it's fiction. Don't worry.
Okay, let's see if they believe you, actually, because they are non-believers. They do believe you. Okay. In that case, they say, okay, we can get it translated for you. How much are you willing to pay for our services?
Meaning how much Charles is willing to pay for all this. How long was this book? I believe it was pretty thin, if I remember correctly.
I don't think I've actually written it here. No, it's a diary, and there's a few different sections in it, so it's not a huge thing, but at the same time, it's quite thick paper and so on. But in terms of just the spell sections, which are sort of fewer pages, they say, well, I suppose it depends how much you're willing to give us. The more you give, the less time we may take. Is it urgent?
I believe it is about $40. Hurry. Urgent.
I'm sure that will be sufficient. I
For
will
the
try
whole thing, though.
the whole diary.
Yup.
Whew. It will take a while to do the whole thing. These several pages, so we can certainly do in the next day or so.
All right, so you can start from there. I'm giving you $10 up front, and I'll come back tomorrow to get the first part of your work. How's that sound?
That sounds perfectly fine.
All right. See you tomorrow then.
See you tomorrow.
All right. Sorry, Charles.
Okay. On that note, let's take a quick break.
All right. Thank
I didn't even realize it was pissing it down because I am so sweaty up here. But it's finally starting to cool down a little bit.
Yeah, it was raining heavy up here. Just about an hour or so before the game started.
Yeah, there were thunderstorms a lot yesterday, but we were actually pretty lucky. We were coming back down from Warwick, and there was like thunderstorms and stuff, but then it stopped. And then as we were traveling, we were kind of going with the sun. So we were fine in the end. There was like a tiny little bit of drizzle, but we were lucky. It was all good.
Yeah, it was lovely here in the morning, but it's rained all afternoon.
Yeah, fair. That's a point. I wonder how Federer did in the end with the Wimbledon. Oh, I see. Nice.
Was that good or bad?
I wasn't sure if I was allowed to do spoilers. But actually, whilst Giorgio's not here because the Italian guy lost him, there was a point actually where he was doing so well, and Federer was kind of not playing so well, and then he came back up. But I thought they were going to go to at least 4 sets, but apparently not. Just the 3.
No, I don't tend to watch Wimbledon. I'm afraid I'm managing to avoid the football pretty much.
Yeah,
totally. So that's good.
I can watch the footy as a neutral, mostly because I am now. I'll give England their due. I didn't watch the last game, but 4-0. They certainly up their game.
Someone said to me in work today, they said, I didn't expect England to score 4 goals Saturday. I said, I don't even know who they were playing.
That was Ukraine, I believe.
Ukraine.
Oh, okay.
And they played Denmark
Mm.
in the semis.
Yes.
And in the immortal words of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, to be or not to be, that is the question. With regards to England getting to the first major final in...
I thought you were talking about pencils.
No, knock them out now. I can stop hearing about it altogether.
No, I would have been talking about pencils, I suppose, but I was led down a different conversation.
Give him ideas. Anyway, before we jump back to the hotel, anything else in the library you want to do, Pranit?
Not in the library itself.
I'm sorry. I must answer Michael's point. Yes. Michael. The rest of the world calls it football. It's only America that sees fit to call it something else. Everyone else in the entire globe calls it football.
That's because they called hand egg football.
I have to go along with Buffy that I find it hilarious that a nation that prides itself in a virility sees fit to strap 40 pounds of armor onto itself just to play rugby.
Anyway, you were saying, Giorgio.
Sorry, I was not planning on doing anything specific in the library per se, but I wanted to speak with the Esquire fellow and have a couple of passages read to me as for getting quotes for Jackson's book.
Oh, from the poem of the Black Fan, do you mean?
Yes.
Oh. Okie dokie. And yeah, you find him in the antiquities department. I said in the letter. And yeah, we don't need to kind of go into a load of role playing with this. But yeah, he does get it out. He remembers where it is this time. Let me just see if I can find you a quote, although it's in this quite terrible stylized Asian looking Roman font, so it's really hard to read. Just give me a second. Where is it? There we go. I mean, is there any of it that you want to read through yourself, or are you very much dictating he needs to read certain passages?
I cannot read Chinese, so I'm asking him.
Okay. I know you can't read it, but as in you kind of taking it in, looking at it, and so on. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just copy this over to here, and hopefully it will just. There we go. So a few stanzas for you from this rather terrifying poem. She stands alone in her temple, alone atop a bejeweled dais. Her beauty would blast the heavens. Her eyes are dark green pools. A silken tunic she wears, yellow and black in color, like a wasp, and in her belt she has tucked her sting, 6 sickles, sharp as a dragon's tooth. He tries to stress the point that in English the stanzas aren't nearly as horrifying, but you do start hearing his voice tremble even as he reads this. A couple more for you. Her face she hides behind a fan, black metal as black as darkness. My lady, remove your fan. I would feast upon your beauty. The fan flutters but does not fall. She simpers behind the fan and says, "You would make such a request of me." Her voice is like iron shredding velvet.
Okay.
Could I have a sanity roll, please?
Oh no.
There's plenty more standards.
Oh, that's a pass.
Okay, so you just lose the 1. Charles retreats back from the book after reading those few stanzas out to you, and you can see that his hands are trembling a bit. I'm sorry, dear boy, I don't know what's come over me. I just need to sit down for a moment, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all, Professor. I believe that this is more than enough I could ask of you. So take all the time you need. And thank you very much.
You're welcome. And he starts wafting himself with a piece of paper or something. We are doing fine, thank you, Matteo, for now.
I do believe I'm done with the university stuff.
All right. Okay, then. So you all convene back at the hotel. Whether Charles has awoken of his own accord or if you force him awake. Of course you can.
No, I'll be awake when I sort of hear people coming back in.
I mean, it's a hotel. It's not a small house or anything, but I suppose they come past your door or something like that.
All right. So did you have any luck at the nursing home?
Yes, we did. We actually found Roger. He was there under the name of Carter. He's in quite a bad way. We're pretty sure Brady's paying for his upkeep, but he doesn't visit him anymore.
Maybe he's busy hiding from the Pale Viper.
It could well be. I mean, apparently cash comes every month, so chances are he's still in Hong Kong somewhere, but how to find him in Hong Kong
It could be doing that via a proxy.
is possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
But you're never going to find anyone in Hong Kong if they don't want to be found.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we're going to let Erica know by means of a photograph.
Okay, sounds
It
good.
seemed like a good way to get the message across discreetly that we've found him.
And on my behalf, I have to say to Charles that unfortunately he has to put his hands to his wallet because I'm having the diary of Anselme Montfort translated.
Oh, given some of the rather lurid details of some of the other terms that you people have found, are you sure the person that's doing the translation is going to be all there when we go back?
Well, they didn't seem to have encountered anything as close as we did, so I managed to tell them it was all a work of fiction, and they seemed to buy it.
And
What happened next, of course, I don't know.
exactly how much of a hand in my wallet are we looking at here?
On a scale of 1 to 100, I'd say $30.
Why 1 to 100?
Yes, I will accompany you and pay your translator.
Hours.
Our translator. Right. So, what's next on the agenda? What's the next move?
Taking the picture, taking the translation, and then getting the hell out of here. I don't believe there's anything left for us to do here beside these things.
By the way, Annie, what's your mythos score now?
Mwahaha, it is 13.
13. All right. Ooh.
Pretty
You're
good.
currently tied with Pranit.
Wow. We've got 4.
Oh, actually, I am indefinite insane, and I just lost 2 points.
Oh, yeah, so you are. Yes, indeed.
I was forgetting that. I'm sorry.
Ah, dear. Okay, well, what I'll say, given I didn't think of it at the time, is maybe that will come up at some point.
Oh, fuck. All right.
But for the minute, pressing things. Although you do, I'll say that you do suddenly catch yourself fiddling with things again with your hands, making sure your nails are perfectly manicured as well and things like that.
All right.
Okay, so are you all going to get the photo done?
Well, we've taken the photo. I think me and Annie picked the camera up and back immediately, took the photos, and come back to the hotel.
Oh, I see.
Unless you want to role play through that, in which case we can go do it now.
Not particularly. No. I just thought you were going to wait for everyone first, but yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to take everybody. We're not going to take everyone again.
Basically, there's no issue that comes about, but the administrator who was there and was getting a bit wary of you is definitely just kind of staring at you at this point and looking very dubious. Do you keep the camera concealed?
Yes. Well, I did say to him that we were going to take some pictures. Come back with a picture.
Yeah.
Just.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, we'll go in. We'll take the picture. I'm also going to take a picture of the building, and then we're going to take a picture of basically the route to the building. Right. Okay. We'll stop because we're going to put no words in it because we don't want anything to be written.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think pictures for his family is too out of the way. That's not a big ask, is it really?
No, but he still stares at you as if something's not quite right, but he doesn't do anything or, call anyone.
Well, on the way out, I'm going to call him Bat. As we leave.
Okay. Right. So there's the whole. You need to still send off the photos, or rather the film and the letter and so on, which is probably easiest.
Yes,
Basically,
there's no
there's some
letter.
telegram anyway.
We're going to send a telegram.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the
fine,
telegram,
yeah.
we'll say we found what we're looking for,
Mhm.
alive,
Yep.
sending details by post.
Yeah, I'm also filling Erica in on the events in Kenya in the
Okay.
telegram. It's going to be a big telegram, actually, isn't it?
It might
We
be
saw
Volt.
a big monster. We almost died.
Lost more people.
Oh dear. Okay. Right. Just give me a minute because I have to scroll right back through this again. Okay. So yeah, you would basically make your way across the bay on the Kowloon Canton Railway, which, as I mentioned earlier, it also goes up north to Guangzhou, which back then was called Canton, which is in mainland China, but Kowloon is still technically part of Hong Kong. It's a nice part of the city as well. Again, various sort of tourist places like the observatory. You actually see the Royal Observatory as you're pulling into your stop. Very, very English and grand looking, kind of brass architecture and so on. You also see kind of billboards and advertisements for the Kowloon Walled City, which is further up, and you can get transport there and things. But yeah, the communication place, which I can't for the life of me remember what it stands for at the top of my head, but I can find it. That is basically further around a small bay called the Hang Hom Bay. So I guess on your map, what is the closest place to that? Oh yeah, it's basically where it says Hong Ham and Hong Ham Bay, that little bit that just kind of juts out. It's right on the edge of there. Yeah, you sort everything out. You get a telegram done and things like that. Make it all up. Can you just remind me what you're telling us? So you're just saying things like letter to follow. You're kind of being ambiguous.
Yeah, I will say followed up Carlyle expedition to Kenya.
I think we have to be a little ambiguous in case the telegram is intercepted.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you.
Yeah. I mean, I did say I was going to fill her in with the goings on in Kenya, because we have been updating her occasionally, haven't we? I think I will say that we went to Kenya and we visited the site. I will just say the site, dealt with the situation, and then go on to, as Annie said, about Hong Kong.
Okay. We were looking for
one. One has had a thought, but I don't think we're going to be able to do it now. Oh, wish I'd had this inspiration. No, it's to do with the asylum.
Okay.
If we're going back to the asylum, we might be able to pull it off, but
we could always go back. We don't.
No, I was just thinking if he's getting regular. See, what we're worried about is Roger being moved by, the enemy, by the cultists. So we're considering moving him out of their way, which I think is probably the best move. Either that, or we make a substantial contribution to the hospital to tell them that under no circumstances is you be taken by anyone.
Unless it's Dr. Thatcher.
Yeah.
Oh, why?
You know, either we take him and stash him somewhere safe, or we bribe the hospital and tell them under no circumstances is anyone to take him out at for any reason whatsoever. I don't care what piece of paper they got in front of them.
Yeah, that might backfire on us.
Stash him somewhere is bullshit. Who's gonna provide for him
Yeah.
while we're gone?
You see, we'd need to move him to another presidential home. And realistically, what that means is taking him out of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Which means going somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, if we put him in somewhere in China, he's going to stand out like a sore thumb. So we need to go.
Well, not necessarily. It's a big country, but you know, like he can be effectively hidden. But look, we're sending the details to Erica. We either wing it or we move him to another country. That sounds like a lot of work.
I don't think we can move him to another country, and we can't take him with us.
Then we just have to leave him in place.
The only other thing we could possibly do is hire a nurse ourselves and stick him on a boat to America. And say to Erica, meet him in San Francisco.
The problem with that is having the nurse, dealing with Roger. It could be a bit of a handful, and if the cult were to discover him because he's not going to be quiet on transit on a public ship.
Left field idea. What about seeing if we can hire a soldier, someone with medical experience?
But there's also the problem of that Roger doesn't want to go because he doesn't want to make it dangerous for Erica.
Yes, he doesn't want to go. He might be better off where he is in a way. They don't know he's there at the moment.
Then do we put the bribe in to tell the hospital under no circumstances is he to be moved?
You can try it. But, if the cult wants to move him, they'll move him.
Yeah, but, I mean, I don't think we should say under any circumstances because that could backfire on us if we want to move him.
Without signed written consent by Dr. Thatcher?
No, but the cult would move him without getting permission from the hospital. Or the only thing we do need to do is make sure we put in the letter the name is under.
Yes. Even though it's going to be weeks before she can get there if she goes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do all that, potentially hold up some other people waiting to send telegrams, but you get on with it and send it all through. So just to clarify that, are you sending the film through with the telegram, or is that going to be in the letter?
No, the telegram is sent wirelessly. The letter.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
The letter is simply going to have Mr. Carter and then the undeveloped film and nothing else in there. But the telegram is going to mention the fact that she should expect a film.
Yeah. Okay.
How many people are sitting in the queue waiting on us to get all this done?
We can have this discussion on the way down there. I mean, come on.
Well, I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking I was just gonna, if it was only like a dozen or so, I would pay for their telegrams to be sent by way of placating them. There you go. Sorry for holding you up. There, well, send your telegrams. Go for it.
Are we putting the name of the home in the telegram? Or we just rely on she can track it down from the photo.
We've put it in the photo, right?
It's in the photo.
Yeah, you
okay.
put it in the photo of the building and the
You should
road.
have a plaque outside.
Yeah, there'll be a plaque and
Plaque, sorry.
no, it's fine. And you probably maybe take a picture of the street name as well and things like that. So yeah, that's fine. But anyway, yeah, you get that done. And is there anything that you want to do whilst you're in this part of Hong Kong?
Is there anything else here? I don't think there's anything else on our to-do list, is there?
There's only sightseeing stuff, isn't there?
You want a
Yeah.
holiday? The world's about to end.
So that's the only thing that's here. Is sightseeing
That's
stuff.
the best time to go on a holiday. If the world's going to end, I'm going to party like it's
No tomorrow.
Armageddon, but there's no tomorrow. Speaking of,
No, I don't believe that's something I'd like to do on this part of Hong Kong. To be honest,
Nothing we ought to trace up, is there, for like any of the Chinese angles on the mainland? There's nothing really here, is there?
No, you haven't really got any more leads left. It was just to kind of, if there was anything else you wanted to do or follow up. Okay, in that case, you head back towards the railway in order to then, get a ship off from Causeway Bay and so on. But as you get onto Yun Chao Street, which is near to where your train stop is, you hear the sound of a crowd of people. They sound quite angry and agitated, and somebody is standing on a crate, some fairly young-looking Chinese man. In fact, you notice that everyone in the crowd appears to be, you think, maybe workers, at least fairly poor-looking. But he is giving them a speech of sorts, whipping them up into a bit of a frenzy. And they're and getting quite agitated and convinced by what he's saying.
Can we hear what he's saying?
You can hear what he's saying, but in terms of understanding, that's another thing because it's all in Cantonese.
Oh, right.
no clue. Looks like a unionist.
Is there someone in the... Sorry.
Might as well be.
I think he's whipping up the peasants.
Is there someone in the crowd we can nudge and just say, what's all this about?
Give me a luck roll.
Hopefully it's not death to Europeans.
Well, in that case, you're screwed.
50.
That's a fair. Okay, yeah. Everyone here is local and definitely working, so they don't understand you. But also, interestingly, from what Becky just said, whoever you kind of nudge looks you up and down a bit, and then kind of gets a bit aggressive with his fist, as if to say, "Move away." And
Oh, dear
you
boy,
actually
you
see
don't like Canadians.
the speaker. Just so you know a bit about what Yun Chao Street looks like, by the way, there's quite a lot of British-owned shops and warehouses along here. But the guy in the crate, he actually gets a bottle, opens it up and lights it.
Oh no.
With the intent of throwing it at one of the British-looking shops.
They are protesting against the British occupation of the island, I guess.
But we bring them education.
I would suggest Miss Jones and I are a little more should be a little more silent. Miss Jones should be a little more silent.
Well, I'm confused. I mean, what would they do without civilization?
Don't worry, we can be
let's
all
They've already
confused
tried to burn the
somewhere
place down, and they still have it.
At this point, I'm gently nudging Miss Jones away, sort of go Annie away. I'm sort of going, let's not stay and find out.
So he does throw it at the nearest warehouse. It smashes through a window, and the crowd cheer. And then he starts leading them down the street the other way. not entirely sure where to, but they're kind of marching down. Just as you hear a little bit of thunder, actually, in the clouds, and it starts to rain.
Well, this just got dark, doesn't it?
It's very humid, come to think of it.
Hmm.
I would suggest that we be elsewhere.
Yes, we won't
Yeah,
want to go
somewhere
that
we
way.
can be indoors, but not on fire.
How
And I was
about our
thinking on-
cozy hotel?
Yes, I was thinking indoors and very much away from this neighborhood.
Okay, no worries. So you skedaddle fairly quick. You head back along the train route. It's a little bit concerning at points as you're heading across the bay. Actually, the wind is picking up quite a lot, and this is a little bit of a rickety thing. They certainly don't have any health and safety rules at this point in the 1920s, so you do feel it tilt a little bit. But you do get back across to Causeway Bay. And then you head back up to your hotel, I suppose. Okay, so is the plan then to get packed at this point and move on to Shanghai?
We might need to wait until the storm passes.
Well,
If it
yeah,
ever
And the
passes.
translation is completed.
Yeah, we need to
go
book.
the translation. Yeah.
That's a good
It might
point.
be a couple of days.
Well, I think at the very least we should.
Yeah, they were keen or giving us the translation of the spells tomorrow.
There is
As
also your
for-
appointment on Tuesday with the doctor.
Yes, about that.
See,
Are you
I
going?
can go back. I wasn't actually there at the scene of the crime.
Frankly,
I
you're-
was,
I
but
can
I
go
didn't
back
pee on
with
the
a clear
carpet.
conscience, sort of.
I was there, but didn't pee on the carpet, so I should be clear of charges, except the break-in.
Except the breaking.
Oh dear. Okay. All right. So you head back on up to your hotel, kind of batten down for the day. It does get darker, and given your elevates a little bit, it does get a little bit foreboding at times. You hear the sound of the windows rattling and kind of like sort of whistling of the wind and so on. The staff explained that Hong Kong around this time of year is quite bad for tropical storms, typhoons, and things like that.
Which stupid bastard said that we should not be on the ground floor?
We should go right in here. Don't worry about it.
I,
We'll be fine.
I think it was me. Dinner, I think.
Yeah. So you get dinner. It does get a bit worse during the night, so your sleep is a little disturbed, especially given the structure of the hotel. Again, you can kind of hear it rattling a bit and things. But yeah, let's skip ahead then. How long are you willing to wait for the translation?
Well, we should get the spells done. Maybe the rest isn't so important.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
mean-
You
think
said
the
by
devil's,
tomorrow for the spells.
I think the devil's going to be in the details. I worry we might miss something.
Like we've read every book thoroughly.
I
That
know.
is
I
true.
know. I just it's.
I was given the basic gist of it, but I was also planning on discussing with you whether we needed the full translation or not. What do you think?
Well, what I would say is let's decide when we're going, and then we will pick it up on the way, and it'll be as we'll have as much of a translation as we're going to get by the time we leave.
Well, in any case, it gets to Sunday, And I mean, were you expecting a phone call, because that can be arranged since you're in a hotel, or whether you want to go out to them? The storm has somewhat subsided, but it is still quite windy. It's sort of spitting with rain coming in, very wet on the ground, of course.
I didn't get it. Sorry. Do we get the call back? The call?
Yeah, as in,
Or-
were you expecting them to give you a phone call when the translation was ready?
Oh
something
yeah,
like that?
I was even thinking of just showing up at the uni and see if
Yeah.
they completed the job.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, the storm has subsided mostly, but yeah, there's still wind whittling and things like that. Although the more you're out, you realize that there's not many people about at all, and you start wondering, is it just because you're in the eye of the storm at the minute, as opposed to it's fully subsided, but you're not really sure. But you do manage to make your way to the university, and they have translated the 2 spells. If I can actually find the damn things. Yes, here we go. Okay. And interestingly, when they describe these spells to you, Pranit, you remember Omar al-Shakti trying to cast these spells at you back in Egypt. So they were spells that he knew. So Pharaoh's breath, basically the caster spews forth a visible cloud of noxious vapors from their mouth, like a jet of steam. The foul breath affects one target up to a distance of 30 yards, but may also harm those nearby. So there's various issues with choking and poisoning and so on. You can potentially dodge it if you're aware that it's coming, but yeah, you're basically spewing forth this horrible toxic gas from your mouth. And then Pharaoh's wrath, it sends a powerful bolt of energy from the caster's outstretched hands to a target up to 100 yards distant, as if a bolt of lightning is come out of your finger.
Ooh, I like this one.
So those are the 2 spells.
As soon as I'm able to, I'd rather learn the second one.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
I ask the students how much would it take for them to translate the whole thing.
Let me make a roll. Oh, I got a crit. They say, well, once we got into it, it was actually fairly quick to do. So I'm sure we could give you the whole book in a few days.
Can you quantify that?
Can you quantify any more pay?
Is Charles with me at this point?
Can be if you want.
I mean, he's supposed to pay them, so I believe
Yes,
it's
I
only
would have
fair
went with them.
he is there.
I want to see where my damn money's going. I may be rich, but I'm not bloody stupid.
Okay, give me a credit rating then, Charles. Or credit rating roll, even.
I swear I feel
Credit then good, Charles.
I made it
You
by
can-
1
Oh, you made it by 1. What are you shaking your head for then?
because I have a credit rating of 90, and I made it by 1.
Wow. Okay. They look up at Charles, who's already reaching into his wallet, and say, "Well, let's make it 48 hours then."
What do you think, Charles?
Yes.
All right. 24 hours it is.
No, 48. I said.
Yeah, 48. Sorry. No, that was me, player, fucking up.
Oh
Yeah.
right, I thought you were trying to bullshit.
No.
Okay.
48 hour it is then.
Very well.
Well, we won't be guaranteed to be able to get on a ship whenever we feel like it anyway, will we?
I placed down £40, which I know will be a hell of a lot more than $30.
I think this will be good enough to get us started at least.
You may very well find that again, depending on the quality of your work.
We understand.
I'm taking the translations of the spells already, though.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Again, given you kind of waiting for the translation, but also it does get a bit more stormy again, so it's not like you're going anywhere quickly. Feel free to make me an intelligence roll to try and learn this Pharaoh's Wrath, although there's going to be a hard pass that you'll need.
Intelligence. Ooh, it's a pass. It's a 25.
But is it a hard pass?
Yeah, it's under 32.
Oh,
so it's a hard
okay,
pass.
brilliant. All right. Awesome. So basically it costs you 4 magic points and 1d4 sanity points whenever you cast it. It's an instantaneous spell, however. You'll be pleased to know. It deals 1d6 damage accompanied by a decisive sonic crack.
So 1d4 sanity. 4 magic points or 3?
4 magic points.
4 magic points. 1d6.
1d6 damage. With a decisive sonic crack. There is a variation of deeper magic, whether you want that or not. I've not personally ever used deeper magic. But basically it allows you to release 2 bolts at once, doing more damage.
Yeah, I don't recall, to be fair, how does it work? Meaning if I need a better degree of success or a lower amount of overall sanity or bigger value of Cthulhu Mythos.
Deeper magic. Deeper magic in play. When an investigator discovers a deeper effect of a spell through play, the keeper may decide on how it differs from the standard version. The section of spell variations may prove useful. It's very, very vague and basically just says the deeper version may add aspects to the spell that are undesirable to the investigator, and greater magic should come with a greater price.
I believe that the vanilla one is fine.
But yeah, it doesn't say anything really about, how much you need to spend or anything like that.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Right. So you've been busy learning that. Okay. So a couple of days later then, if we're skipping forward, I suppose whether you go to your appointment or not at the doctor's, it's pretty much the same sort of deal. She would give you some more pills and so on, sees how you're doing. Is obviously
definitely want to go. I felt I was making a breakthrough.
She's obviously in a bit of a state from what happened over the weekend, but she's got people to help clean up and so on. It gets to about Wednesday, the 29th. And by that point, the whole book is ready. And the diary is ready.
All right, so we just collect it.
How many people in the university have not gone insane then?
Well, Pranit managed to convince them that it was fiction, so they're all right. They'll just go a bit later when they realise.
Yeah, I do believe it's time to leave for Hong Kong, for Shanghai, sorry. If we get the translation, I don't have anything else to do.
Well, I mean, yeah.
We can arrange our living.
don't think we have anything else to do. The only other thing here is Roger Carlyle, and I don't know. I got a feeling he's better off where he is for the moment.
Okay. So you managed to get a ship. Let's say Wednesday evening, actually. Right, where are you? So yeah, you basically you go east along the bay, Causeway Bay, and so on. You head out into the South China Sea, and then you would make your way up to the East China Sea, beyond Taiwan, along the coast, up to Shanghai. However, the weather is still not great. Having said that, keeping boats in mooring does cost a lot of money. So there are a lot of ships taking risks, yours included.
Ooh.
So,
Do we want to take risks, though?
As
I mean,
compared
fuck
to
it. If he wants to end his campaign that way, go for it.
well, what I was going to say, the weather will get calmer the more north you go. But having said that, let's have a group luck roll and let's see just how stormy your journey is.
Oh, well, nice knowing you guys.
please, very please.
Don't talk to me. Talk to these two.
Hey, those two, please.
Hey, those two.
71.
Fuck.
Okay. So it's a little bit turbulent as you get out.
Can we see if we throw Perry over the side? Do we get to do another group lock roll with the next highest?
His name's not Jonah. Jeez.
Is this a typhoon?
Well, basically, hold on. Where's I've lost the map here. Where is it? Here we go. Yeah. So when you get out into the open ocean, you start heading around the coast. It definitely starts getting more stormy, and whether you're in your cabins or whatever, people are being called in from off the deck. You're starting to hear panic in sailors' voices and so on. And there's quite a lot of movement on the ship, obviously up and down, but you think they're trying to steer away. They're doing what's called steering away, which is basically trying to get into the clean side of a storm, so where it's spiraling in order to get into slightly safer waters and so on. However, it does get even worse as you head out. It's torrential rain. By this point, you can hear it rattling all the time in your cabins, and it's by the very least, it's quite a nauseating experience for you all. Could I have con rolls from all of you, please?
And con you may have.
I'm one off an extreme.
I fumbled.
Extreme.
Oh,
100.
Just.
okay. So you know
Two.
that bout of madness that I was thinking about springing on you at some
Oh,
point.
for fuck's sake.
So you desperately need to get some air, even though it's absolutely pissing it down outside. You don't give a shit. You feel like you need to get air of some sort, whether it's even just opening the window, whether you go outside, it doesn't really matter. But you have to look out to sea, get the air, and so on. And you see this bolt of lightning. It's quite far out, so you don't think it's going to affect the masts or anything. But you can't help but see this huge silhouette out in the sea. This huge creature, I suppose, wings, just for a glimpse, and maybe even some tentacles and so on. You don't know if it's a hallucination or not, but
I hope it
you are
is.
incredibly terrified by seeing this thing. Tell me what you do, and I'll also get you to roll a d10 as well. Actually, no. Let's go for the the other thingamabobby because that was better. Yeah, what are you immediately planning to do on having seen this creature?
Screaming and falling on my ass on the deck of the boat.
Okay.
Just pointing in the distance.
Because I thought I put it in favorite, but I didn't. Okay, I'll do it as a summary rather than as like immediate because we're not really in any combat or anything. So yeah, give me a D100 roll, Pranit.
4.
Ooh. Okay. Right. So, what I'll say happens is there is, like I said, quite a lot of panic. At one point, they even the staff actually get the longboats, side boats down. It's looking quite likely you're going to have to evacuate. You do manage to get all your things. It does take some time. You manage to. You're not quite in Shanghai yet. Let's see. Maybe Fuzhou is probably a nice place because it's about halfway up. Yeah, let's say Fuzhou. And also, I've actually been to Fuzhou, so I vaguely know what it looks like. You dock in. Okay, maybe not quite into Fuzhou because it's across down a river, but certainly near to it, along the coast. You make an emergency dock, and Pranit, when you kind of come round a bit later, you've basically been delirious that whole time, but you realize that you've been robbed. Basically, someone at some point has pickpocketed you.
What did they take?
I mean, they took your sword.
No. Which one?
Your were you wearing both of them at the time, or just your smaller one?
No, I only have my smaller one with me at all times.
Okay, they took your small one.
No.
And any money that you happen to have in your pockets.
I hate you so much. So much.
I love you too.
Fuck. All right.
So, just so you've got a rough idea of where you are, you're in a place which this isn't the Cantonese or anything, or the Wei Jiao's thing, by the way, because I've just got Google Maps up. There's a place called Wuxianbi, which is on the coastline. Fuzhou is the nearest city. You've still got a couple of days up to Shanghai, which you could easily get, via road and so on. But yeah, you manage to you kind of get up there. You're not washed up or anything because you do come in on the boats with your things, but at the same time you're wet, you're cold, you're hungry, and
I'm
quite a
pissed.
traumatizing couple of days. And Pranit is super pissed off. Yes. So I think we should leave it there on your rather unsavory arrival into China.
Sounds good. Well, not actually good, but all right.
I did think it was going to go worse there for a little minute.
Yeah, I was a little worried there that we were going to lose 2 members of the party. One to madness, and the other one to being thrown overboard by the rest of us.
Okay, now I definitely need to read the Shanghai chapter.
Yeah, I'm sorry, mate.
What? No, I expected you to get there by next session anyway, so it's fine. I will do it.
Shanghai, here we come.
Yep.
Yes. Indeed. But I hope you enjoyed that.
Did
Yeah,
indeed. Did indeed.
Good.
Everything but the last part.
Well, it says Becky said one time, if you take something valuable away from the character, then they get invested.
I'm always invested.
Not quite, babe. If you want the players to go somewhere, you take something from them and then lead them there. You don't just take something with a random NPC that can't be traced. That's just taking something from them to piss them off. No. It's a technique I use if the party are just dithering, or just too arrogant, or feel like they can't be beaten. You steal something from them, and then you make, because they will travel to other planets to get their shit back.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you will get the sword back. But
In the meantime, I'm executing everyone on my boat.
Yeah, maybe we will go to other planets.
Yeah, I mean, Pranit now will probably do a full inquiry on the boat, and you've just basically filled your next 2 weeks because Pranit is hunting his sword back, basically.
But in typical Call of Cthulhu style, if it's things like I mentioned about the significant, what's it called, a significant thing, it can be taken away from you. And thinking about madness and you fumbled, it made perfect sense to take something valuable away. But it may be temporary, you never know, and you still have your big sword of Akmala. Maybe that'll be a decent
too.
Who knows? But anyway, I'll let you reel offline when I cut the broadcast. And you can strike me for real. So thank you for playing, and to the rest of you,
Thank you everybody for watching.
Saturday for AFA.
Oh
and
yes.
Monday next week. So bye bye.